you ever leave that you down the river with Judas. Tearing down the barrel of his gun. Yes, he shot me down. I died and someone brought me back to life, but never to my senses. Pounce on that shit, damn. Pounce on that shit, damn.
Hey, welcome in, y'all. We are going to go ahead and finish the Danish deception. We're finishing it today. Thank the Lord. We can finally finish this, move on to other content. Thank you, God. We can finally finish this story and put it to where to bed. So when we left off, we was on 20. It was 8 to go. We're gonna go ahead and knock it out the park and take our time. Take it out the park. Hold on. So if you guys watch the replays, that is the replay. That is fine. I did put up a short. I asked if you guys wanted me to do reaction on Miss Piggy telling the truth. Well, now she pregnant. That's a little too much. Miss Thane telling the truth about that man baby ain't his. So if y'all want that, let me know. Y'all know I'll come back this evening with it. Now, when I get done with this, honey, I'm gonna go fix me a nice honey butter sandwich. All right, so let's get into it. So when we left off, she was just finding out some things about her now husband. There were things, I guess, 20, I guess the conclusion and stuff. So it's y'all, we got 7 parts. Great. There's some things that she found out had happened. We're gonna go ahead and finish where we left off with part 21 into part 27, and then we're done. We're done. And then we'll look into him a little, and then we're just gonna move forward and close this out. All right. Let's go to it. Oh boy.
And part 21. So the things that transpired over the next couple of days happened over text. So I have my old phone. I'll be reading a lot of the messages because it's hard to really convey everything just based on memory. So I send him a screenshot of the test transaction that I did, and then the screenshot that he sent me for my mom. And I literally put them right next to each other. And I said, here's a side-by-side comparison for your reference. You've been caught red-handed, but if you want to keep lying, by all means, do your thing. And you can clearly see that you dragged it down to remove the schedule payment button. And then I had the test transaction with the schedule payment button.
So he was supposed to send the mom some money, right? And all that we know, he did not send it to her. He was finna send it and then removed himself from sending it. It's crazy.
Circled.
Because he didn't have no money.
I am telling you, Anika, I made the transfer to the account she gave me. I would have come clean right now if I had it. At this point, I think we should call off the weddings. We are not working as a team, and I don't want to keep fighting over this. Your mom will get her $10K as soon as I get it back. No, let me rephrase that. We are calling it off. I'm doing my best for everyone. Now it's time to focus on my own mental health. I will stay at a hotel for a few nights. This is all too much for me. Once I get the money, we can discuss if there's a future, but the weddings are off. So at that point, I'm just, what is happening? This is just, I'm so confused. Obviously, I had just bought my wedding dress and I was planning this wedding, but the weddings weren't even like on my mind. I just knew that he was struggling with something really, really big, and I wanted to know what it was. And the weddings, at this point, I was like, let's cancel the weddings. I don't even care. I was more focused about his well-being and making sure he was going to be okay. So I do another test transaction, but this time I actually loaded money into Revolut and then I sent it to myself. And so I said, FYI, this is what it looks like when you actually make a transfer in Revolut. And I did like a couple $100, just a small amount. And I said, the lies need to stop. Aren't you tired and exhausted? Do you think I want that for you? He goes, don't worry about me. I'll go to Denmark either tonight or tomorrow. I have enough miles to book it. Then we'll figure out the business account and you will be made whole. After that, we can figure out the next steps. So to answer your question, yes, I'm tired, but I'm more than tired. I am done. So I sent him this message.
So y'all, he left her, I guess.
You think you leaving is what I want? We don't need space. We need a relationship that's open and honest. You say you want to focus on your mental health. Keeping up with your lies and taking on the stress is destroying your mental health. You say you want to work as a team. How can we if you can't be honest with me? I'm here for the good, the bad, the ugly, but we can't work through any of this until you can give me the honest truth. So he gets back from the gym and he walks in the house. He walks past me. He walks past my best friend, goes up to the room. I follow him into the room and I go, hey, can we talk about this? He said, what is there to talk about? I told you I'm done. And I go, what does that mean? He says, I want a divorce. And at this point, I'm just stunned because never once has he mentioned leaving me or divorce or anything. So I'm shook at this point. And then he proceeds to tell me, he said, you prioritize your friends and family above me in our relationship. I've never felt like this is my home. I'm a guest in this home. My stuff is in the guest closet. And I'm like, your stuff wouldn't fit in the master closet. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm just sitting here just so confused. And he said, you only love me when there's money in my account, which is crazy because there was tons of times where there wasn't money in his account. And I'm just still trying to talk to him. So I'm like, I love you. You're the love of my life. He goes, you were the love of my life. And I feel so hurt, but I'm also like, this can't be him talking. This has to be the disease. This has to be the addiction that's talking. And so I'm still trying to communicate to him. And he's like, you know what? Don't worry. I'm going to fly back to Denmark. I'm going to open up, get the money from the business account, make sure you're whole. And I also have received an offer to be a CEO of a company in Denmark making $1 million. And so now I'm just like, oh my gosh, he's for sure spiraling. Like, this is 100% the addiction. And it's insane because at this point I should have just been like, okay, go buy it and be done with him. But I'm very much still fighting for the relationship because I don't think that there's anything crazy big that we can't navigate and come through together. So we're not making any progress in the conversation. So I leave. I go to my friend Rebecca. I said, let's go for a drive. So we take her daughter, we go to the lake, and I tell her everything. And I just break down. And she's in shock because she had no idea that I was dealing with this along with most people. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't want him to leave me. And at this point, it's crazy because I had definitely thought to myself, like, what life would be like without him, and almost was like mentally preparing myself for it. But I always thought it was going to be on my terms. But the fact that he was leaving me just like put me in like this like fight or flight. And I just wanted to fight for him. So while we're at the lake, he sends me a message. He says, are you all gone? If yes, do I have enough time to pack my suitcase? And I go, we drove to the lake. And I said, I love you. We're going to figure this out. Let's take some space, but flying to Denmark is not the answer. And he says, I have made up my mind and I'm not changing my decision. We are both exhausted. Our individual peace has been at stake for too long and we need to protect that. We tried. God knows we fought for it, but the battle is over. Let's find peace each on our own. Let me know when you're heading back. I packed the first suitcase. I might do the other tomorrow. It's a bit difficult for me as well. So after being at the lake, I go upstairs trying to talk to him and he's just not even wanting to be within like 5 feet of me. And I'm like, let's talk about this. Like, please, like, tell me what's going on. Like, you wouldn't be spiraling like this if there wasn't something that's going on. Like, I'm your wife. Like, we can get through this. And he said, no, I'm done with you. I'm going to leave tomorrow. I booked a flight. And I will never see you again. And I will only talk to you when it's about getting you your money. And at this point, I'm just like, what? Like, it's now been an hour and he still has not backed down from this idea that he's leaving me. So out of pure desperation, and I have never experienced this level of desperation before, I go into his work bag and I take his passport and I look at my friend Rebecca and I said, he's not leaving. I'm going to get to the bottom of what's really going on. And she looks at me, she goes, do you, girl? Like, I support you. So we go onto the patio just to get some fresh air. And I look at the doorbell camera and I see that he's left. And he had 2 big check luggages packed and then his carry-on. And I see that he only left with his carry-on and his work bag. And so I sent him a text. I go, take your space tonight and remember that I love you. And I'm grateful that you're my husband. And I will never stop fighting for you. My love. And at this point, I'm angry, but I'm being nice because I've done so much research on addiction. And I know whenever an addict is spiraling, the worst thing you can do is fight them back. So I'm just trying to be calm and be peaceful so that he can find a space to be able to come and be honest with me. And he said, wrap your head around the fact that I am not your husband anymore. We are done. Today has shown me that I won't have anything to do with you other than settling my debt. After that, I can breathe again. So obviously, I had a horrible night. I cried myself to sleep. The next morning, I wake up and my best friend says, hey, I'm going to go to my other friend's house. She had another best friend that lived in Dallas. So she was visiting the both of us. And I was more than okay with that because I didn't think this was a good environment for a child anyways. And I knew he was going to come back to the house. And I thought that was for the best. And so I drive her to her friend's house. And my ex had messaged me like, I'm going to need the house until 1 to grab my things before I go to the airport. And I remember being like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to drop her off at her friend's house. And he doesn't know that I'm like trying to intercept him so I can have a conversation with him. He also does not know that I have his passport. So I drop Rebecca off at her friend's house and I come back and my ETA is like 12:30. And I know he said he was going to leave around 1. So I was like, okay, I'll have some time to intercept him. I get home and everything is gone. His bags that were packed are gone. And I don't know if anyone's ever experienced being left by a spouse without knowing, or even a partner in general, but it is the most devastating feeling in the world. And especially someone that you shared your life with, they're there one day and the next day they're gone. It is just gut wrenching. And I honestly, at that point, just start screaming. And I sent him a text and I said, I have your passport. He said, what the fuck is wrong with you? I go, please come home, babe. You fight for the people you love, and I love you, and we will get through this.
Why does she got his
stunt
passport?
Literally cost me thousands of dollars. My decision is made. Remember who is fighting who. And I said, we just need to talk through this. I know you're hurt, and I'm sorry for my part in this, but you're my husband, and we will fight through this. We're building a life here with friends and family. He said, I am over it, but don't worry. All your troubles will go away. Now it'll just take a day longer and cost me more money. Ridiculous.
What?
I don't care anymore. I really don't.
Why did you take his passport and make him stay? Why would you do that? Why would you take that? Why would you take it if he would? Okay, girl.
I say, I don't believe that. You wouldn't have married me if you wanted to give up that easily.
Yes,
said,
he would have.
But I'm getting a temporary passport, so I'll be leaving. And you made sure to take my green card too. So even if I wanted to come back, that's not possible. Take care. And you think I'm giving up easy? You're delusional. I said, I can mail it to you. And at that point, I'm freaking out because I did take his green card. So I get in the car and I said, I can bring you your passport and I can bring you your green card. I'll go to the airport. He goes, don't worry. I'm on the phone with the consulate. They'll figure it out. I don't need you. And I said, I'm on the way with the passport right now. I'll be there in 20. He said, I'm not going to see you. Trust me. I said, okay, I'll turn around. But I also can leave the passport at the front desk so you don't have to see me. He goes, don't worry. Getting issued an emergency passport. Don't you fucking leave my passport anywhere. This is the most insane situation I've ever heard of. And guys, this is my favorite text in the entire thread. Call on your friends and family. You prioritize them. Now they can show up for you. And just to be very clear, I do not give a fuck if you tell everybody everything. So here I am telling everybody everything. So after that message, he says, there's no coming back from this. And I text him back and I said, okay, I will accept that now. And I had reached full acceptance because the fact that he had told me that he doesn't care if I tell everybody everything means that he must really be done with this marriage. And so I reached acceptance and I'm in my car. And I remember I sent a text to my sisters and I said, my ex just left me. And I also called my best friend Necca and I told her, I said, he just left me. And I stay on the phone with her until I get home. And I get home and I just plant on the couch and I'm just hysterically crying and just completely wrecked, completely heartbroken. Like the man that I love has just left me and I'm never going to see him again. And so obviously it took some time for my sisters to read my text and they both came over and I realized like now's the time to come clean and tell everybody what's really been going on in our lives. And so my sisters are sitting down next to me, and my best friend Nika is also on the couch. And I look at them and I tell them everything about the gambling, about the lies, about the money. And my little sister looks up at me and she says, well, he actually took $3,000 from me. And we will continue on in part 22. The Danish deception.
Wait a minute. He took money from your sister, girl?
The Danish deception, part 22.
Oh, no.
So my little sister looks at me and she says, he took $3,000 from me. And I am just silent for like 5 seconds. And I want you all to picture a horror movie in your mind and picture the screams in that horror movie. I can guarantee you the screams that were heard from me were 10 times worse. It was the most heartbreaking moment of my entire life. My little sister is like, she's my world. And to know that he took advantage of her was just, it was so heartbreaking. And in that moment, I 100% fell out of love with him. And it was like the spell that was on me had been broken. I went from survival mode to clarity in a matter of seconds. He asked my little sister for money 2 times. The first time was back in May. It was for a birthday present for me, which is crazy because he did not get me a birthday present that year because I asked him not to because I wanted us to save money. He paid her back, and he actually paid her back with interest, but it took him like a month and a half to send it back to her. And then he asked her for money again in the beginning of August, saying that he was planning a surprise for me for our wedding in Nigeria. And again, he's having issues with the transfer between his Danish account and his personal account. And she sent him the money, and that amount was not paid back to her. So I sent him a text and I said, you took $3,000 from my little sister. I hate you. No wonder why you left. You're a fucking coward. I don't know how in deep you are, but please know I will make it back from this. Fuck you. You were right. There's no coming back from this. You're a pathetic waste of space. And he responds, you're right, but don't worry. You'll get what's yours. You can start the filing process so we can be done with this. I said, glad we're finally on the same page. He said, me too. I'll need my passport back Thursday. Can we find a way to make that work? I said, absolutely, whenever you pay us back. And I said, you're the most disgusting human I've ever met. He said, that's a mature comment, but that deal works. What's the exact amount I owe you? And I said, love how you use the word mature as you flee this state, LMAO. I mean country. I mean continent. He goes, I'm not fleeing, Anika. I'm going to make sure you get what's yours. That's all I've been trying to do. You can believe that if you want to or not. Well, I'm just scream crying at this point, just being like, no. And it takes me some time to like gather myself. And then I realize, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not the only one.
No.
So the first person I call is one of my close friends, Chris.
Oh,
and
Lord.
Him and his wife, they're pregnant.
Don't tell me he took money as money. They gave him money from her friends.
With their first kid, and they're buying their first house. Obviously, money's tight. And I called him and I said, did you give money to my ex? And he goes, yeah, I did. And then I just started scream crying on the phone. And then I tell him everything that's happening. And it was so heartbreaking because like I had to tell people these things, and then I would be so emotional, so wrecked, and then I would gather myself, and then I would realize that there's another person I have to call. So after I called Chris, I called my friend Rob and asked him, did you loan money to my ex? And he said, yes, I did. And again, I'm scream crying. He borrowed money from Rob 2 times. The first time he said that he was buying an Aston Martin DB9.
What?
And he was trying to shuffle funds between his Danish account and his American account. It was taking a while. That amount of money was paid back. And then he came back and asked money from Chris and Rob and said that he was trying to surprise me with this super rare Rolex. And he was trying to surprise me with it for the wedding, and the store just got it, and he didn't think they were going to get it again before the wedding. And so that's how he got money from them the second time around. Then I messaged him, Chris and Rob too, what the fuck? And he said, you don't have to remind me. I am aware. That's why I need to go back and fix it. And then I text him in all caps, who else? And then he doesn't respond. Then I called one of my friends that I've known since high school, asked him, did you give my ex money? He said, yes. He had loaned him money as well. And then I made a call to my cousin and I asked him, I said, did you loan my ex money? And he said, yes. And we are the godparents to his son. And that one was like so heartbreaking because this man trusted us to be godparents to his child. And you did this to him. And he's like a second brother to me. And it broke me completely to know that he could hurt people I loved like this. And I was in total shock at this point. I was so hurt. I was so angry and I did not know what to do. At that point, I'm like, I need to contact his family right now. So I call his little sister and it's like 11 p.m. in Denmark, but I did not care. I called her, she answered, and I tell her everything. And I'm hysterically crying and she's just in shock. And her fiance goes to his mom's house, picks his mom up, brings her to their home, and then they call me again, and now the three of them are there, and I tell them everything again, and we're all just crying, like all of us, and I don't even know what to say. And they were like, we knew he had a problem 10 years ago, and he went into treatment, and he got better, and like we never knew that he was still doing this. And I was so angry because I felt like I deserved to know this when I met them. Like I feel like,
baby, he was a scammer. He was somebody that used for gambling. He wasn't going to tell you, girl. He wasn't going to tell you. He wasn't going to tell you that's what he was doing. He wasn't going to tell you that's what it was. He wasn't going to tell you. He wasn't. You gotta just accept that. He wasn't going to tell you that. Anyway, he could get it mean necessary to him, and that's what happened.
They should have told me this right away. And that's when I started feeling a lot of resentment. I know like it's not fair to put the blame on them because I know they're not responsible for his actions, but I absolutely felt so much resentment towards them at that moment. So then I tell them, I'm like, he's lied about so much stuff. He lied about going to the Olympics. He lied about the home he lived in. And then I thought to myself, the royal title. So I asked him, I go, do you guys have a royal title? And the look on their face, they were horrified, absolutely horrified. The lie that he had told my cousin was that he was buying a Ferrari. And again, he was having issues getting money from his Danish account to his American account, and he needed a short loan. A Ferrari. Then I texted him, you took money from my cousin too. I'm so sick to my stomach. I wish I never fucking met you. And he goes, Anyeka, I understand. I don't need these reminders. And then I said in all caps, tell me who else? I said, be honest for once in your fucking life so I can finish making these calls and I can heal. And he said, no one is asking you to do that. That's a choice you have made. So over the course of the evening, a lot of people came over, like my cousin, his wife, my sisters were there, a bunch of my friends, and I was just crying. I just really just needed to be around my people while all of this was coming to light and all of this was unfolding. And so it was really rough, but I went to bed that night. My little sister did spend the night with me. And the next morning I decided I'm going to go on my Instagram and I'm going to unblock his ex-girlfriend and I'm going to reach out to her. So I unblock her and I send her a message. I go, hi, I've finally seen his true colors. I don't know how to understand the depth of what I'm going through. And she responded almost instantaneously. It was like, Anyeka, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry. There were so many times I wanted to reach out to you, but I felt like he was filling your mind with lies and you weren't going to believe anything that I said. And so I told her, I said, don't blame yourself, but like, I'm having a really hard time understanding the depth of what I'm going through. Are you available to have a quick conversation? And she said, absolutely. We can have a conversation. So at that point, I'm obviously experiencing so much darkness. I'm waiting for the ex to call me and I just need to find some light in my life. So I call my cousin's wife and I ask her, can I come over? Can I just spend some time with my godson? And she said, of course. So I go over to her house, I pick him up and I just hold him and I'm just like crying and I'm telling him he's 1 year old, so he doesn't understand what's going on. But I'm just saying, I'm so sorry because like your godfather is an evil, evil monster. And I'm just now finding this out. And I just felt so bad for him that like one day he's going to learn that this man was his godfather at one point. So I'm at my cousin's house waiting for the ex to call me and I just need to just start reaching out to every single person that's ever encountered him. And that was really, really difficult because a lot of these people are also my friends. And so I'm devastating them because everyone loved him. Everyone truly loved him. Everyone trusted him. So I find another friend that he owed $10,000 to. One of my coworkers that I used to work with,
damn.
she told me that her husband gave him $10,000.
You owe all that money, bro. He owe all that money. Oh no.
To the lies were, it was a variety of different lies. One person, he said that he was investing in a plot of land. Another person, he said that he was buying a car. The same lie about how his Danish account and his personal account aren't like, it's not, he's having issues transferring money in between. And let me make something very, very clear. Every single person that he took money from, he told them explicitly not to tell me. And it's in text and it's in the receipts. He said, do not tell her, it's a surprise. I'm getting this car as a surprise. I'm getting this watch for her as a surprise. I'm buying this land as a surprise. It was all a surprise to me, which makes me so, so sick. So I'm on my phone. Again, I'm still waiting for the ex to call me. And I look down and I have a text from his older sister. And she said, Anyeka, can you please call me? I want to talk to you. And we will continue on in part 23. The Danish Deception, part 22.
All right.
So, Danish Deception, part 23. So, at this point, I am feeling all the emotions. I'm feeling so much sadness. I'm feeling deep anger. I'm feeling so heartbroken. I'm feeling a little bit of relief because now I know there's not a question in my mind on who this person is and what he's done. Like I know exactly who he is. But the feeling that was taking over me completely, as you guys can imagine, is shame. I felt so ashamed. I felt like I didn't recognize the person that I had been for the past 3 years. And when you fall out of love with a psycho narcissist, it's disorienting and empowering at the same time. And it's almost like walking out of a dark room and experiencing sunlight that you never knew ever existed. And that was when I told myself, I've been living in someone else's reality and I want my own back right now. So I pick up the phone, I call his sister, and it's on FaceTime. I'm bawling my eyes out and she's just apologizing. She's like, I'm so sorry. She said, I felt as though he was living above his means and this is always a sign, but when he's gambling and stealing from people, and I wanted to have a conversation with you, but I didn't know if you were going to believe me. And he had told the whole family that he had told you about his gambling addiction and about everything in his past. And I told her, I said that wasn't the case. And she said, well, yeah, his addiction got really, really bad about 10 years ago. He owed money to some really dangerous people. They actually threw a brick through his parents' window. And they chased his friend through the streets with a knife. And she's a police officer, so she wanted to protect him. So she actually went and met with these like dangerous loan sharks and figured out a payment plan for them. And then my ex got a job in China, and then he moved to Shanghai and didn't pay anyone back. And he owed money to his parents. He owed money to tons of people. I did not know any of this. I just knew he owed money to his best friend at the time, and obviously crypto. So I thought these were like small, not crypto, small amount of.
You didn't dig and ask questions on what that man owed to that girl, girl. You didn't.
Money, but I thought these were isolated incidents. I didn't know that this was a pattern. And she was like, once he moved to China, he was there for like 6 months. And then I started receiving messages from people in China. So he was conning people in China as well. So we are now at 3 continents. We have North America, Europe, and Asia. And I'm just completely mind blown. I said, well, how in the world did it get this bad? And she said, well, he got treatment about 10 years ago. And the specialists and the therapists and the counselors at this facility, they told the family that he had the worst gambling addiction that they had seen in their careers. And his family said nothing to me. So that conversation 100% deepened my anger and resentment towards the family. I've worked through a lot of that in therapy, but I still just cannot understand how this shit was not brought to me. But, then she proceeds to tell me this is why I don't have a relationship with him, because, I have kids now and I could see he has no desire to change, literally none. And I told her, he said that your family had all this money. She said, that's absolutely not true. We're very average, middle-class family. And I also asked her, I was like, has he ever owned any property in Denmark ever? And she said, he has never owned a single piece of property in Denmark in his life.
What?
So I get off the phone with his sister, and then his ex is now available. So I call her and she answers and I say hi, and she's very, very nice. And she just says, I'm so sorry for what you're going through. I know how devastating it is. And she said, do you want to start or do you want me to start? And I said, I would love to hear about your experience and understand what you went through.
He didn't tell the fact that him and his sister fell out because he been asking people she know for money. That's what that was.
And she started it off saying, okay, well, we were together for 7 years. And I was like, 7 years? He told me 4. So the first sentence that she said was already a lie that he told. And she said, he stole money from me. He stole money from my parents. He stole money from my friends. And there's actually a colleague of my dad's that he took money from after meeting him one time. He met this man once and was able to get money from him. I was so shook at everything I was hearing. Obviously, it was her dog. That dog was hers. It was never his dog. She also told me that the godson of the plumber was never his godson. So that was also a lie. Obviously, he never invested in that plumbing business. That was all stupid, all lies. And I asked her, I was like, 7 years is a long time. Like, what pushed you to finally leave? She's like, I just realized he wasn't going to change. And, for a while I knew I should have left him, but I felt like I was just in deep sunk cost fallacy. I feel that too. And then I asked her, I was like, when did you guys break up? They broke up on December 23rd of 2022. So do y'all remember that story about his dad being sick in the hospital and him getting in a fight with his sister and the back surgery and all the bullshit? It was all a lie. He was living with her. They broke up. She left him 4 months after we started dating. At this point, guys, I was numb. I couldn't even say this man cheated on me. He cheated on her. I was the other woman. And I was so numb to the cheating. I didn't even it was just okay, let's add something else to the list. I don't even think I cried. I was just like, well, what's next? Let's see. And it truly felt like for that 24 hours, I was living the same nightmare over and over and over and over again. So at that point, I'm like, it is time to fight. And for starters, I need a divorce. So I start looking up divorce attorneys on day one. And I actually had 2 meetings with the divorce attorneys while all of this was unfolding. So I truly felt like I was fighting for my life. And at the same time, I'm still reaching out to different people that have met him to see if they've given him money. And so I leave my cousin's house. I go back to my house and I'm with my cousin's wife and my sister and one of my friends. And at that point, I'm like, it is time for me to call my parents. And I was so nervous because I'm like, my parents at this time didn't even know that I was married.
I know you.
So now I have to tell them all these
I know
things.
you
On
is
top of
nervous.
that, I have to tell them that I'm legally married. And so
You got.
I get home, I call my dad, and I'm telling him, hey, I need to talk to you. He's like, what's going on? I go, he's not coming back. And I proceed to tell him about the addiction, the money, everything. And then I asked my dad, I go, but please tell me he didn't take money from you. And my dad goes, don't worry about that right now. And then I was just on the floor screaming. Like, this is my family. This is my family. I didn't even know how to pick myself up. And then I heard my dad. I was on FaceTime with my dad, and he just goes, you need to be strong. And I immediately get up, sit on the couch, and he looked at me. He's like, you need to be strong. He said, what he took is a drop in the bucket, and we're going to get through this as a family. And that was just, you guys, I have the best parents in the world. So then my mom comes home from work, and I talk to her on the phone. My dad had already told her, and I pick up the phone, and I'm FaceTiming her too. And I'm like, Mom, I'm so sorry. And she goes, why are you sorry? You have no reason to be sorry. She goes, everyone that knows you knows your heart. And I love you. You're my daughter. And we're going to make it out of this stronger than ever. I have the best family, the best friends, the best support system in this whole tragedy of a situation. It reminds me of that every single day. And I just, through all the darkness, they are my light. So I'm on the phone with my mom, just talking to her about everything. And then this name pops in my head. So there is this man, and his wife is from Denmark, and she had found my ex on LinkedIn and was like, it's so rare that I meet other Danes in Dallas. Would love to have you and your wife over for dinner. So we went to dinner with them, and they were so nice, so kind. And this man is extremely successful. They were living in a very nice home, and he just felt like he wanted to take my ex under his wing, and he wanted to find him a great job. And he was also working in tech similar to my ex. So this man had taken him to like car shows. He met billionaires and made so many connections through this man. He just really wanted to be a mentor for him. And so his name popped in my head, and I was like, Mom, I got to get off the phone. So I get off the phone and I call him, and I go, hey, it's Anyeka. And he goes, hey. And I go, is everything okay? He goes, how can I help you? And I go, did my ex take money from you? And he says, that motherfucker took $30,000 from me. And I was just so shook. Like, another victim, and this man was just trying to help him. That's all he was guilty of, was trying to help him. And so I asked him, I go, how did he get all this money from you? And he said, well, he told me he was investing in this land. He was building a quadruplex, and he had to rerun the water lines, and he was looking for investors. He said they had 10 to 15 business meetings before this man gave my ex a dime. And he said, listen, Anyeka, I'm a man that's found a lot of success in my life. I have $1.5 million worth of cars. I have $500,000 worth of watches. This man had to work hard to pull one over on me. He said, I have loaded guns in every single room in my house. I didn't know if this man was a part of a group. And I asked him, I go, why didn't you bring this up to me? He goes, well, Anyeka, you're Nigerian. Like, that's a scamming capital of the world. I didn't know if you were in on it. And that's when the irony hit me. I'm Nigerian, and I'm a proud Nigerian. I tell people it's my biggest flex. But the country's not perfect. We have our strengths, we have our weaknesses. But one of our weaknesses is that there's a ton of scammers. Versus Denmark, who's considered to be this prestigious, wealthy, happy country. So the fact that a Danish man pulled this over on a Nigerian or Nigerians collectively, it just blew my mind. And that's when he says, I'm going to tell you something else that's probably going to blow your mind. And I said, what is it? And we will continue on in part 24. Danish Deception, part 20.
Longer.
The Danish Deception, part 24.
We got 2 more.
So I'm on the phone with his mentor friend, former friend, and he tells me, well, you want to know what else is going to blow your mind? And I said, sure, tell me. He goes, I actually filed a lawsuit against him.
Oh.
And I said, you did what? He said, I filed a lawsuit against him and I served him via courier. And I was like, wait, what? He had filed a lawsuit 3 months prior. And I was just sitting there like, wait, but you got served via courier. Like I was home. Like, I don't know if I was home, but, and then I remembered a specific day where he walked to the door, received a package, and I asked him, or like an envelope, I asked him, I'm like, what is that? He said it was the incorporation documents for his LLC, which he had just formed the day before. And so I was like, damn, that was fast. He said, oh, I expedited them. No, he was just getting served. On top of that, before the mentor friend would give him any money, he wanted to get some collateral. So my ex, what does he do? He gives him the Rolex watches as collateral, which turn out to be fake.
Wow.
So him taking that $50,000 watch to the village, yeah, he quite literally did not have anything to lose.
So he didn't think of her, of what she thought when he thought that wow. He didn't really see her that he saw as his friend saw her, a scammer. Wow.
The worst part was that this man had just lost his job 4 days prior to getting conned, and his wife is sick. Let that sink in for a little bit. So that conversation with the mentor, I feel like that conversation really just shaped me and shaped my mindset. And it was right then when I realized that I need to fight back. So a lot of you are probably wondering, like, why are you putting this story out there? Aren't you embarrassed? Don't you feel shame? Well, yeah, but is it worth me being silent if he can go out and continue to find more and more victims?
That's a messed up comment.
Is that, right? Do the other victims deserve that? What if someone had done what I'm doing right now? I wouldn't be in this position. So I feel proud of myself that I can sit here and I can share with everyone the details of what happened to me so that we can prevent this from happening to other people. And at the end of the day, silence is abusers' greatest weapon. It's time to take the power back. At that point, I have now cut off all communication with my ex since the day before when I was just going off on him, calling him a coward and a lunatic. And he then proceeds to start sending me messages, begging for me back, telling me how much he loves me, telling me how we can work on our relationship and get back to what we were. And let me just tell you, I have never had my phone blown up to this extent ever in my entire life. You guys want to take a gander? And it was hilarious because you could tell that so many of his messages came from ChatGPT. And I could tell, like, it was so easy to tell. And obviously you guys don't need to see all the messages, but I will do you guys a solid and I will read you my favorite one. Nothing makes sense without you. We had so many plans ahead of us, some of which we can still get to do. Others we will miss. That's okay. We have an entire life together right in front of us. If you want it, you are perfect and required not to change a single thing. I have many battles to fight and overcome. I will rise from this stronger than ever if you choose to stand by my side while I go to war for you, for us. I'm aware of the fact that a lot of people hate me for what I've put you through, what I've put them through, family members and friends. But I also know that a lot of them are good people whom over time will forgive my actions if I make the right amends. Many of the same people have witnessed my love, loyalty, and generosity, even when I had very little to give. I am devoted to change for you, for everyone around you. I will put all my pride aside and show you that we can come back from this if you'll let me. You might think I sound crazy, delusional to think I stand a chance. I am crazy, crazy in love with you. I'll go through extreme lengths to show you that. And y'all, he ended every single message with this one part: I love you. I will always love you with all of my heart. I'll go to the end of the world for you. An actual psychopath. It's funny because I actually put that message in ChatGPT, and ChatGPT was like, this is emotionally manipulative. He's minimizing the emotional and financial damage he's caused by saying that everyone's going to make amends with him. He puts you on a pedestal telling you you're perfect so that you'll feel like you need to fix him. He's saying that he's almost like a hero because he's going to go to war for you. And no, I didn't talk to my people, but I should have been talking to ChatGPT because he would have known. He would have talked some sense into me. So I hired a lawyer less than a week after everything went down. He was referred to me by one of my friends. You know who you are. Thank you again. And my lawyer was a wonderful, he was so good. We were able to file the petition, file for divorce. And he said, listen, it might be easier to make this thing just go quickly if we can just get him to sign. And it worked out so well because I live in Texas, which is a separate property state. So my house, which I purchased before I met him, was my home for the taking, and he could not have any piece of it. And I had not put his name on the deed. I was about to, but I didn't. Thank you, God. Obviously, my car was mine. So really, he couldn't take anything from me, which made me very, very happy. So we filed the petition, and I didn't hear from my ex for quite some time. And I'm sitting in a therapy session, and I get a text from him after not hearing from him for about a week. And he's basically saying that, he still loves me and he really wants me back, but he also really needs his passport and his green card back. And he said, just so you know, it's illegal to hold on to someone's passport and green card. And I was like, you want to talk to me about legality? And then he said, talk to me, text me back. He goes, file a lawsuit with me or work with me. And I'm like, you want to talk to me about lawsuits? And so I reached out to my lawyer. I'm like, hey, what's going on with the docs? Like, you think it's gonna be happening soon? And he was working so fast. Him and his associate were working so quick. And he said, actually, I think I'm gonna have them done this week. But it'd be so much quicker if we just get him to sign. And I was like, honestly, I am down. I will meet with him just one time to get it signed. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, my friend Chris, and he said, Anika, I will go meet him for you. And I was like, are you sure? He said, yes. I'm like, thank you so much. So my ex starts blowing me up, and I text my friend. I go, please send him a message just to say the divorce documents will be ready for you to sign this week, and then I will be able to provide you with my passport. It wasn't a sign these in order to get your passport. There was no duress. Got to say that for legal reasons. There was no duress. And then he texts me and he goes, this is heartbreaking, because I don't think he actually thought I was going to file, which is insane. And then he proceeds to start blowing me up again.
Oh, wow.
Round two. He's telling me he loves me and that he doesn't think we should give up on our rare love, and that he got a new job in Dallas and he's going to provide for me and yada, yada, yada. And I'm still not responding. And then he starts sending me voice memos. And the voice memos are getting kind of creepy because he's saying, I'm going crazy. I'm going out of my mind. I think I'm going to show up. And like, obviously I feel safe and I'm not scared of him. Like, I will beat him if he shows up. I'm not scared. And he sends me a voice memo saying, good morning. I love you. And I'll see you very soon. And I said, what do you mean see you very soon? So I sent a message to my neighbor. I go, hey, if my ex shows up, I'm gonna need you to tell him to leave. She said, I got you. I'm ready. I'm like, okay, sounds good. So Saturday comes around, and now we're like in the middle of September, and I'm walking my dog. I had just walked out of the house, and I look up, and there's an SUV pulling up right next to me. And I look up, and there's my ex. And we will continue on in part 25. The Danish Deception, part 25. So I look up, I see him, and we make eye contact, and there's one split second where he looks at me, and then he says, hey, babe, can we talk? And then I proceeded to scream bloody murder. And when I say scream bloody murder, I mean people are stopping on the road, and they think I'm about to get kidnapped. Bloody murder. And, well, I can demonstrate it for you. Get the fuck away from me! Fuck yes! Fuck you! Get the fuck away from me! I'm sorry, guys. I had to do that because I needed you guys to understand what I meant. But like times that volume by like 100. I was screaming bloody murder. And then he speeds off and drives away. And then he texted me, okay, I get it. I love you. That's all. I won't do that again. My heart is bleeding, and I don't understand that you want to give up on love. But if that's your decision, so be it. Goodbye, babe. It was always just love, even me coming by. And then I sent him a text because, I've been ignoring him for weeks now. So I was like, maybe I need to just send him a message so he knows how I really feel. And this is the last message I have ever sent him. Do not ever show up to my home again. I do not want to see you. I do not want to be with you. I do not love you anymore. Nothing you can say or do will ever change that. You make me sick. Someone capable of the evil you've committed on my life and the lives of so many is not capable of redemption. This divorce is happening whether you want it to or not.
Oh.
And then in all caps, leave me the fuck alone. And all he responded was, I understand now. So that was obviously a very traumatic experience for me. I immediately drove to my friend Priscilla's house and I was just crying and shaking because I just could not believe I was in person with him, like that I had seen him in person. It was just, I was shaken, but I also felt good because I always kind of wondered, like, what if he does pull up? Like, how am I going to feel? And it was just anger, just hot rage. So I'm good with that. Later on that night, it was my really good friend Nicole's birthday party. And something you guys should know is for that month, I was completely depressed. I barely got out of bed. I tried to stay active, but it was really bad. I just laid in my bed and watched Criminal Minds for like a month straight. And this was actually my first time going back out into society for this birthday dinner. And we go to this restaurant, and let me tell you, it was a traumatic day, but I was like, I will cut off my right arm before I miss this birthday dinner because this friend, Nicole, she has been there for me tremendously, and I love her so much. I would not miss this dinner for the world. And so we go to dinner, have a great dinner. Afterwards, we were grabbing drinks at a cocktail bar, having fun. It's like about to close. It's like 1:30, but it closes at 2. But around 1:30, I was feeling a little bit tired. So I was like, I'm going to go home. And so I go home, and the next morning I go to church, and I get a text from Nicole, and she said, can you call me after you get done with church? And I said, of course. So I get home, and then I call her, and she's like, hey. And I was like, what's up? And she's like, I just, and I'm like, what? Come out with it. And she's like, oh, and I was like, why don't you just come over? She's like, okay, I'll come over. So she comes over, and I'm like, I'm wondering what she needs to tell me that's so like uncomfortable. She can't tell me over the phone. She walks into my house. She sits down and she looks at me and she says, I saw your ex last night.
Oh.
And I was like, I was with you till 1:30. Where did you see him? She was like, my building. And she lives in a building that is residences and a hotel and like restaurants and a cocktail bar. There's a lot of people in this establishment. And she was getting home because she lives in the residences. And she saw my ex with a woman that, let me just say, based on the way she was described to me, I would think she was a street hooker, 100%. And it was also kind of communicated to me that she might be like a 1 out of 10. And my ex was with her, and he was holding her jacket and getting cash out of the ATM at 2:15 in the morning. So, we all have our guesses on what that could have been. So she tells me, and I'm like, okay, so cool. He's hanging out with prostitutes in public. Love that. And at this point, I had not announced our breakup. And you guys know I did a post telling people we weren't together. This was like before that. And so at that point, I felt so disrespected because, people know me in Dallas and they're going to see him with a hooker. And it's just so disrespectful to me. And I'm like, after everything you've done, like, you're still going, you're still not finished. And so I send a message to his sister just saying that I'm absolutely disgusted with him. So I tell her everything. And my friend actually got photographs of this man holding her jacket. Like, she got the photos. And she asked me, are you comfortable with me reaching out to him and letting him know? I said, absolutely, I don't care. So she reaches out to him, and then he sends me a text and says, I was not buying sex last night. I was buying weed. He said, I was having a really dark night, and for the first time in a long time, I went out to drink, and I haven't been sleeping, and I met someone that would sell me weed so I could finally sleep again. I don't appreciate you going with that information to my family. And then he said, called out my friend by name, and Nicole needs to watch her mouth because she was looking all drugged up. He didn't know that I was with her 30 minutes before she saw him. She was sober. We had had like 4 glasses of wine that night. So she got drugged within 30 minutes. Oh, and she was also able to take 15 pictures of you holding the prostitute's jacket. Mind you, he's also texting another one of our friends, Rob, one of the other victims that he used to be good friends with, saying, I can't believe Anyeka would ever think I'd be with a prostitute. That girl was actually a doctor. And he also sends a screenshot of the receipt of his withdrawal, and it was $40. And I'm thinking there's 3 different options. Number 1, he saw my friend and he was like, let me take out a small withdrawal so I have something to back up my lie. And he clearly saw her because he called her out by name. Number 2, he was conning the prostitute, and he said, hey, I only have $40 right now, but I'll pay you back the rest. Something with his Danish account. Bullshit. I don't know. And number 3, the prostitute was $40. Could be any of those 3 options. So
well, from what we understood, he had 39 cents. So I guess he got $40 from somebody for a happy ending. Because Mr. Danish, I think his name is Mark. Mark, we ain't got no money. Okay? No, we ain't got none. But while you around here caping. All right.
Obviously, I was hurt by the situation, but it just, at this point, I'm not even surprised because this man is crazy. I allowed myself to shed 1 tear, and then I was like, I'm done. And the following week, my friend Chris met up with him, and he signed the divorce papers and had no problem with anything that I put in there. And that was the greatest day. And my divorce was officially finalized on November 4th of 2025. So I'm happy and I'm excited.
Well, she is a single woman, so
to move on. And I'll have a little conclusion video at the end of this, but I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for being here and letting me bare my soul to you guys. This has been the most difficult thing I have ever.
Somebody in the comments said, at least she knew how to ask for his money.
Ever done in my life.
And
y'all's support means the world to me. And I just wanted to say thank you. And I hope you guys enjoyed the Danish Deception. Welcome to the Danish Deception, the conclusion. So I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of like put a little bow on top of this present I just gave y'all. I'm obviously not a psychologist, but I have diagnosed him myself with narcissistic borderline personality disorder. If you're a psychologist, I'd love to know your thoughts, so comment below. But 100% I think he has that mental disorder in addition to his gambling addiction, which is just a recipe for disaster. I know a lot of you are wondering, how the hell did this man con this many people? And this is what I think. Someone might disagree with me. Number 1, his looks. He's very charming, charismatic man. I've mentioned that multiple times. He's highly intelligent.
His name is Martin Fregazard Anderson, if that's even his real name. But we're going to look him up after this, and we're going to dig into the things that they're saying about her too in a little bit.
He knows how to play with people's weaknesses. Like, I think that's why every single person he reached out to, he had different lies. He was a great listener, and it was really easy to connect with him. And because of that, he was able to build so much trust with all of these people. And him being from Denmark didn't help. I feel like that piece was very critical in all of his different cons. I don't know how he conned people in Denmark. I'm sure he had some other way to do it, but Yes, I have already received a lot of messages from people saying that my ex also conned them. I actually talked to a girl that dated him while he was with me and his ex. So now there's someone that was added into that mix. I also know that there's a group of people at a company he used to work with, and he conned tens of thousands of dollars from that company, and he actually ended up getting fired.
Now we know he would.
So I'm learning a lot. Another ex-girlfriend reached out to me. I'm learning a lot. So at this time, I'm going to tell all of you, I'm not collecting tips because I'm building a case. My goal is to get this man in prison. He does not deserve to be a part of society. And I'm trying to build up as much evidence as I possibly can. I'm not going to name his name. I don't need to. But if you have any tips, or if you've also been a victim of this psychopath, send an email to danishdeceptiontips@gmail.com. Side note, should I share with you guys the tips as I get them? Could that be like a little fun segment? Maybe comment below if that's something you'd be in.
All right, y'all. Now we finna go to Martin. So people are sitting there, things that saying that women are saying that they were conned by their men that they were with. She said that she talked about the trips. Um, she's still talking about it, child. She came out and said her ex still scamming people. That Martin is out here still scamming people. So she says she's in her healing journey and all of that. But we finna go see what Mr. Martin Anderson, the Danish man look like. Child. Mm. Wait a minute, it looked like he was somebody else. Hold on. He's still scamming out here. Oh, that's and that's his mama.
Already gave you the time.
So don't be shy. Come be the man I need. I don't wanna turn it on it. I love it when you call me beautiful. That's my jam. I love that song. Okay. Wait. All right. So now we finna go talk about Miss Onika. That's my song, y'all. Did y'all see it? I think I did. Okay, let's go look at her. It's not much about him. So he does have a girlfriend. This would hold on now. This when they were dating. Look at this.
To check what star sign the Danish deception lady is, just so we know, and then we can keep like a very good close eye on our homegirls who are the same sign. But one thing I know for sure is that she ain't not no. She's not an earth sign. Because Capricorns, Virgos, Tauruses, no, we're not playing that bullshit.
Well, they say she's a what you call it, so all right, let me see if I can find something about him. It's nothing much about him because, like they say, they out here still scamming. Wait. Okay. But there's some stuff about her. Okay. Hold on, y'all. Let me find it because I had seen it. People, oh Lord, let me go see what Fumi had to say. Oh, Auntie Fumi. If y'all don't follow Fumi on YouTube, please.
We're going to have these wonderful children and we must travel. Yes. And then we must come onto YouTube so I can show off my white husband and I'm on your car. And yes, I'm just fabulous. I am seeing this because I'm your big sister. I'm your auntie.
Tell
And I
her,
am
auntie.
telling you that that is not the way to go. If a man loves you, no matter who he is, that is the beginning of you building something. And
y'all better go listen to Auntie Fumi. Auntie Fumi be telling the tea and she be giving good advice. Auntie Fumi is that girl, honey. Auntie Fumi, she be sitting out here, be showing her nice styles. Y'all go follow Auntie Fumi, y'all. Shout out to Auntie Fumi. Fumi, she is on YouTube and TikTok. Y'all go follow this lady. I love her. And yes, if you saw her on the Montel, Montel, she was on the Montel show, I believe. Y'all go see her. I love her.
building a life together. Always have your money. Why would you give up a job of over $150,000 a year to travel with him and then he is not stable? You began to be a little smart, and that was when you took the PIN number from his other card, from his Revolut, to go and check, and you saw that he only had 34 cents. And even only with the 34 cents and the gambling, you still married him. You would not have married a Nigerian. You would not have married a Black American. You would have told him that he better get up out of here. But you thought the whiteness, maybe you can do something with that. Maybe somehow you can monetize that. And
Yes,
it came
Auntie.
to bite you. That's what happened. It's a good lesson for you because, again, like I said, thank God you didn't have any children with him because you would have had him there for 18 years. The struggle to get out of Denmark, to get your children, these are the horrors that I talk about on this channel all the time. You got to really know who you are. I know who I am. I know who I am. Believe you me, I know who I am. I know every inch of me, and I don't play myself. I don't play myself. I got the gift of goodbye. I can walk. I can what? I can walk. I got the gift of goodbye. As much as I like you, as much, and when I say like, that is that you got principles, you have ethics, you have scruples, you're a God-fearing man. You show the respect to my family, to my friends. I see how you are with your own community. When I say community, the people that you work with, how you are in society. A selfless individual. Ula's parents were married till the end of their years. My parents have been married for 58 years. That's the kind of family I look at. I don't look at the black, white, blue, green. I don't look at that. Ula, again, just happened to be white. That's why I'm talking the way I'm talking, because life is hard.
Auntie.
Because life is hard. Being a mother is hard. Being a wife is hard. Being out here every day, staying on the street and narrow is hard. But you wanted to push a narrative that doesn't exist to anybody. And everybody said, this is a hard smoking mess. This is why it went viral. Partly because of how he played you, but also partly because of how stupid we were. Because we could see that this went further than necessary. Why? You're a beautiful girl, Onyeka, and you needed this lesson. It will never happen to you again, because this right here, it kind of sort of wiped you out and destroyed your life a little bit. Respect your parents. Don't marry him after the fact. You can imagine how your father felt, even though he might not say it now. Then you now want to come out, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. You were a willing participant, and you have to take accountability. Because when I got into the nitty-gritty, I really couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, 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 wow. It was really ode buruku, ode from left to right. Maybe you go to Nigeria and stay there for a year so you can learn something, but never ever do this. And for the young girls listening, Sister to Sister is in full progress. I will be out here on TikTok because I see that you really need me. You come for counseling. As he pumps up the brakes like this and says, baby, come to Auntie Fumi and I'll let you know whether it's a yay or nay. Because homeboy came out here and he wiped Onyeka of about $300,000 in total. He even went to a guy on the net and got 30 from him. Then a co-worker, 10,000. He was just collecting money left and right. And yes, that is white privilege. And he did it. Why? Because on Yeka, they knew you. So they thought, well, okay, maybe I can double up my money. Maybe borrowing money maybe giving him money, he can come back with 20. No, the guy is a con artist. He's a con artist. Show his face. And still you were trying to protect his identity. But you see, the TikTok sleuth said, no, we got him. Don't be a fool. Do not be a fool. Don't be a fool for any man. Don't be a fool for a black man. Don't be a fool for a white man. Don't be a fool for a good-looking man. Because there are some good-looking con artists out here. And they'll be like, well, you know what? I go to the gym every day. I'm slim. I can give it to you, this, that, and the third. You don't need to sleep with a man. All of that will come later in life. Trust me. And you can teach him how to make love to you. What you like, what you don't like, how you like it here, there, kiss you here, longer, da, da, da. Trust me. You're going to have other things because when the baby comes and is crying all night, you're not going to have time for the cookies. Trust me. It's going to go down a little bit. I'm just being real with you. It is what it is. And your boobs are going to be food for the baby. Yeah. So you're the oh God. Motherhood is not a joke. It's not a joke. This life out here, my beautiful girlies that I love.
Let me tell you something. I grew up in a black household. I have been around Latinas that say the same thing. And they have this deception with Latina women. It's not all true. And I have been around African women who tell you, I know. And they do say this. They say the same thing. Don't be no fool for nobody. Your boobies are for the
love you so much. Be careful out here because there are wolves. Take your bag. Take your bags, pack your bags, and leave. Don't stay there and let him rob you blind. Take your bag and go and be fabulous all the way through. Darlings, when I tell you, you can fold them, you can take them to the supermarket, you can take them to the gym, you can pack all of your stuff real quick for the weekend, and you're out of there. All right? Don't forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification.
I love Auntie Fubi. Y'all gotta listen to her. I've been watching her in a while. She's the one that got me into the Real Housewives of the real like South Africa, Johannes, all of them. I've been oh my God. You talking about a run, baby. If you put them and Atlanta Housewives together, it's over. Over, darling. Over. Okay. Now, a lot of people have been saying there was some things about her. A lot of people say it was a passport marriage. But she is divorced, as from what I see. Let's see. They found her Bachelor when she was on The Bachelor. Child. I'm trying to see what they said about her family. Because they said some things about her sister and how her sister here it is. Her sister allegedly that they don't like a child. Hold on, I'm gonna play it. It's
very well much so.
Well, can you tell us about them a little bit? Like what relevant information you have about them?
I wouldn't say the only thing about her family is like, this, you have to also understand that they're Igbos, right? Most Igbos, especially in Dallas, right? Everything about them, like friendships, the conversations they had, the friends they had, the circles they move in. And mind you, we all used to attend the same church. So you will see most of this, families, doing the same things. It's always the same thing. Have white friends, have this. Even, they all give us that same, tutorial, for always follow these people, always do this and all that, right? But I had to deconstruct that for myself. I had to know myself for me. I had to understand that we were not the problem, right? We were not the problem. We were never the problem, or we will never be the problem. Yes, we probably have a little problem here to fix, but why would I forget? Why would I shift from my own people? I want to be closer to the colonizer. It doesn't make any sense. So I felt like, it was still that naivety, and also the idea of wanting to be, and they're very judgmental. The family is actually very judgmental, right?
Oh,
So
wow.
that the family is always very judgmental. I'm just gonna be honest with you, because I do know the sister. I remember one time, like you see some girls wearing, whatever they want to wear, and just have fun with their outfits, right? And you see, this act of like, they're looking at you, judging you. And so immediately I couldn't even finish those stories, because I was like, I already knew her and I already knew the family, right? And what she was wearing, when she talked about that the other girl, she wanted to that the other girl, that someone told him, or someone told her, sorry, that the guy was moving with like a sex worker or something, and that the sex worker was, did she say 1 out of 10? I said, yep, yeah, I already knew that, because it's like this idea of, judging every.
Now, a lot of people say that they forgot that from her, in a way that they believe that she just wanted to be picked, and that basically, it's just certain things that she wanted to do because the way she had just what her preference was with him, and how they are judgmental. Now, I don't know. I ain't never met the girl, but I'm just telling y'all. So she did get a lot of backlash. The Igbo community has said that, honey, like this, they said they keep their milk in the tribe, and Onika is an isolated event. I'm gonna play this, and then we're gonna get up on out of here, child.
For the Igbo girl community, it
Hey,
cannot be.
Derek.
It would never be fixed. I don't think it would take a good at least 5 to 10 years to fix the damage those videos have caused. Oh, it's Nigerian. We idolize white people. My whole life, all I heard from my traditional mother was, you need to learn to cook for your X, Y, and Z Igbo husband. You need to do this. You need to do this for your X, Y, and Z Igbo husband. It was always an Igbo man. Maybe Yoruba, by the skin of the teeth, they agreed for me to entertain a Yoruba man. Hausa will be the last thing on their mind.
I told y'all, most of them are taught to cook for their Igbo husband. They want them to marry in the same, family wealth. And most of them, now we see when some of them do come here, it's different. They don't, you be surprised. Like Michael, remember Michael? He had to learn the hard way on 90 Day Fiance. Now he had the people rally for him, but he had to learn when he got with that white lady in Georgia. Oh, I'm going to vote for Trump when I get there, and find out, you know what I'm saying, that it was what it was and what the truth was when they got here. And he realized she wasn't ish. And, the community of the Black Americans and all that are here, that's where everybody, even from different countries of Black, was like, we finna get you out of there. See that happen.
But now it's we idolize white men because one dumb bitch who was raised in America, raised.
What I just told you, the ones that are raised in America have a different perspective. The ones that are not raised in America, and because it goes hand in hand, because African Americans get a pushback with them too. We kind of like, nah, baby, that ain't it. And then they see, okay. And then, the ones that's not raised in America, we kind of, they, you know what I'm saying? They like, girl.
Through her whole fucking life in America, succumbed for some nigga who looked like Lord Farquaad with a beard. Like, let's be serious. She has done so much damage. Yeah. I know any Igbo girl from any respectable Igbo family who was raised in Nigeria does not idolize white men the way y'all think we do. Never that deep. It will always, if I end up getting married tomorrow, it will always be a Nigerian Igbo man. Like, let's be serious. I don't know where this we idolize white people come from. That is not true. That is not true.
Yeah, it's bad to the point that
And now that we are on Onyeka's topic, black girls, you have to stop thinking that a white guy liking you or a white guy approaching you means something. It doesn't mean anything, okay? Because one thing that I've noticed is that when a white guy likes you, like when you like a white guy, your first train of thought is, oh my gosh, does he like black girls? Blah blah blah. I do understand why you might ask those questions, but it shouldn't mean anything. It's either he likes you or he doesn't. If a white guy likes me, it doesn't mean that I'm special or like I'm one of the good ones or like I'm not. You like me or you don't, okay? And on your situation, it's a prime example of low ratio self-esteem, okay? Because I am pretty much sure that if Martin was a white guy, Onyeka wouldn't have been with him, was a black guy, Onyeka wouldn't have been with him for that long. If Martin was a black guy, Onyeka wouldn't have given him as much money as he did, okay? And when it comes to Onyeka's parents, once again, if Martin wasn't white, he wouldn't have managed to get any money out of him. In fact, they wouldn't even have given him as much respect that they gave Martin. Okay, and the fact that a man is white doesn't mean he's saint. The fact that he's white doesn't mean he's Jesus Christ. The fact that he's white doesn't mean he's pure. The fact that he's white doesn't mean that he won't do you wrong. Doesn't mean that he isn't like the other black. It's a man. At the end of the day, it's a guy. Okay, you have to stop putting these white guys on the pedestal. And the fact that a white guy chose you, it doesn't mean you're special. And I would say that Onyeka's parents might also be seeking validation from white people because I'll use this as a prime example. I have seen black corporate workers come on this app and talk about how their supervisors or their managers in their workplace, and when they tell their other African uncles and aunties to perform a task, they don't give them as much respect that they give to the white managers. Like when the white managers ask them to do something, they'll quickly do something. Oh my gosh, yes.
yeah,
Hello,
got
sir, what do you
away.
want me to do? Blah, blah, blah. But when a black supervisor tells a black African auntie to do something, they disrespect him, okay? And I think it's the same kind of thing.
All right. I'm gonna end it there because I don't want to go over long. I got another live to do. But y'all get the gist. We have finished, y'all. We finished. She's getting some backlash as people saying their opinions. I told y'all the Nigerian community are going to bash her. But we are finished with Danish deception. Yeah, it took some time. We done. All right, y'all. Well, I'm gonna leave. I have another TikTok story. I might put it in my lit live Saturday, so we ain't got to do this. I got some updates on Brene tomorrow, and I have one that this girl did about the CPN. I'm gonna tell y'all my thoughts about it because y'all think it's real. Well, do y'all? I want to know if y'all think it's real. I see some people say they believe it was real, and then I see some people say I don't believe that. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. That's going to be our Lit Live Saturday, so make sure you tune in. I will be back you're welcome, Lyric. I'll be back at 5:30. I need everybody to have your teacups. We got a little mommy content brewing. Child, 4 different personalities. We have the mother of the name, Liv, a.k.a. Miss Piggy, Gertrude, Maria, and it was another one I named Gertrude, Maria. Hold on, let me look at my notes because we're going to talk about it. Since she's saying, you guys are bullying me. Now she back on live. The dust has settled and she feel like she can come back outside and don't say anything. She called herself a pinching Wanga. Wanda. Miss Wanda with the red wig. Holiday Heart Wanda. Yes. Thank you, girl. We're gonna talk about it today, girl. We're gonna talk about it today. You see me, Holiday? Miss Wanda. We're gonna talk about it. All right, y'all. Let me go. I'm gonna see y'all at 5:30. Let me go fix me something to eat. Come back. We're gonna talk. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
It's in the reach of my arms, the span of my hips, the stride of my step, the curl of my lips. I'm a woman, phenomenally.
birds singing in the dead of night.